there are team like we very rarely go, okay, well, 14 teams made the playoffs last year, those same 14 get in this year. And so today I'm going to look at the teams that I think who were in the playoffs last year who won't be, and the teams that weren't last year who will be. We will start with teams who were in, who I now think are out. At number 3, it's the LA Rams. I've talked about how I'm a little bit like the things that I'm worried about being wrong about. They're one. They're absolutely one. Because I am fully out on the LA Rams right now. I think the quarterback is a year older and kind of winding down. Same thing with Cooper Kupp. I think losing Aaron Donald on the defensive line is a real problem for this team. That was already kind of just barely keeping it between the white lines on the defensive side of things anyway. And so now you lose Aaron Donald. That doesn't help anything. And I think it causes some really, really big problems. And then you are relying on 2 young kids who had probably the best season of their careers, relying on them to do that again. And that would concern me greatly. And I'm not just saying the best season of their careers up to this point. Obviously, last year was the best and worst season Puka Nacua has ever had in the NFL because it's the only one he's had in the NFL. I'm saying, I don't know if he replicates that at any point in his career. And that's not a shot at him. That was just a really, really good year. And so I feel like there is the potential that this thing kind of nosedives a little bit out there. At 2, Cleveland. They had the best defense in the NFL. They ran through 4 quarterbacks and somehow still made it into the postseason with that. And the defense is still probably going to be really, really good. But if it takes a step back from being elite to bordering on all-time great, I don't think the offense is good enough to make up for it. With no Nick Chubb, although that was an issue last year, with Deshaun Watson, who kind of looks like he just sucks now. I don't see a path where this team is going to be that good again this year. So they are out for me. And at number 1, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love the offseason that they had right up until we get to the quarterback. And honestly, I like half of the quarterback moves that they made. I think Justin Fields fits there great. I think Russell Wilson is kind of cooked. And it just feels like something where they're going to hold on to this one maybe a little bit too long. And I don't think they're going to be able to get this team to where they need to get to. Also, we are assuming a great deal of health with Cincinnati, of course. But I don't think Pittsburgh is going to be able to step back into that playoff role this year and really make that push again. So those are the teams that I have out. So who do I have moving in? Now, these lists are unbalanced, and they shouldn't be because, I'm saying 3 come out, so 3 should go in, but I'm saying 4 should go in. Kind of to hedge my bets, but whatever, it's my show. Fuck off. Out of the playoffs last year, in this year, at 4, and the reason they're at 4 is I'm not, firmly 100%, yeah, let's go. I got Arizona. I think, I just talked about how I don't think the Rams are going to be all that good. I've talked about how I think San Francisco maybe falls off a little bit. And Seattle, I do think they are going to be better this year. I think a lot of aspects of their team are going to be improved. But I feel like Arizona, going from having one of the worst defenses in NFL history last year, they at least have competent players on the defensive side of things. A full season of Kyler Murray coming back with Marvin Harrison, with another year of McBride. You have Benson and Connor that you trust in the backfield. DeMercado can kind of change things up a bit as well. This feels like a relatively competent football team in a division that I think might open up for them a little bit. And so I think Arizona has a chance to get into the playoffs this year. At 3, it's Atlanta. We made actually quite a bit of money last year on betting against the Atlanta Falcons. And frustratingly not enough because they still won a few games. But they where everyone's pick just, oh, well, everyone else in this division sucks. And we had that Tampa Bay ticket, and that will go down as one of the best plays we've had here on Couch Potato Diary in our existence so far. But I do think now Atlanta, whether it's Penix or Cousins, they have competent quarterback play. They have made some really good moves to shore up this defense in training camp. Getting Judon, I think, is going to have a real impact on things. Simmons as well, I think, is going to really help out this defense. I think the Falcons are actually a good football team this year, and so I do think they get in. At 2, this has been a trendy pick for people to go against. I have Jacksonville. They were the top team in this division. And then Trevor Lawrence got hurt and he tried to play through it. And so I think that is skewing people's perception of him a little bit. But you still have one of the better running backs in the league in ETN. I wish they would have done a little bit more to shore up this receiver room. But if Brian Thomas turns into a guy, then I think all of a sudden everyone starts to stack up a little bit better than you would think. I think Ingram is fine as a tight end. Defensively, Josh Allen, who added another name onto it, I forget what it is, I apologize, I'm sorry, kind of anchors this defense that's really good. Now, I do think Doug Peterson can be a touch overrated at times. And it has seemed like the longer he's in a place, the worse it gets. And so that there's a bit of a concern there. But I think a lot of people are just saying, oh yeah, Jackson, whatever, the Houston Texans division to do whatever win. And I think actually every team in this division is maybe a little bit more dangerous than people think. But I think Jacksonville is right at the tippy top of that list. I think they are actually going to be a decent football team this year. And at number 1, it's Cincinnati. For some of the reasons I mentioned before, if you're watching the full episode, with Joe Burrow being like coming back, if he is actually healthy, then this team is a no doubt playoff team. They still need some help on the offensive line. I think Burrow being there is going to help this defense out substantially. And you just have an elite level quarterback, one of those guys, it's so cliche, but just knows how to win and get the most out of guys like Higgins and Chase and all of them. And so that's why it feels like a bit of a gimme to say that they should make the playoffs. But assuming health, which you never can in football, but assuming health, this team is 100% a playoff team next year. So those are the picks that I have for in and out for the NFL this season.